Now, before I start the video, I have one serious statement to make. The Pixel 7 Pro is the most well-polished phone that you can buy in 2023, and let me tell you why. And I say this because in terms of overall user experience, I cannot tell you one major flaw that the Pixel 7 Pro has. And that's extremely rare since most phones come with many problems out the gate. The Pixel 7 Pro has an amazing software that is arguably smoother than most phones. It has a powerful processor that can handle any app. It has a great battery along with a great ecosystem. And it's an all-around great phone that'll give you a really premium Android experience. And the best part about the Pixel 7 Pro is that it comes at a much cheaper price than other flagships, costing around $900, proving that you don't need to spend over $1,000 just to get a high quality premium phone. And there are many reasons why I would tell you guys that the Pixel 7 Pro is such a well-polished phone, but I wanted to share my experience with you so that you can see how it holds up in everyday situations. Now, starting with design, the Pixel 7 Pro has adopted the same look as the 6 Pro, and it looks really good from the unique camera bar to the flat edges on the display, and I really appreciated how to use quality materials that will result in better durability. The design is really good, different, and reliable, so I think that it was an amazing idea to implement this style on a very popular phone. This iPhone looks the exact same as the Pixel 6 Pro, from the power button, volume rockers, all the way down to the speakers, USB-C port, with the only difference being the camera bar. And looking at its color, the version that I have is Snow, and this is one of my favorite colors that's been released. It has the very shiny sides along with a glass back that gives it that right amount of depth and results in a really good looking device. Now, looking at display, the Pixel 7 Pro has a 6.7-inch LTPO AMOLED display that, just like the Pixel 6 Pro, was pretty good. Whenever I was scrolling through my phone, it looked very nice, everything looked good, the responsiveness was very precise, and I had no complaints about the overall feel. I really liked how it felt really great despite being cheaper than other top tier flagships. The 7 Pro has a 120Hz refresh rate, scrolling through the OS and many different apps felt as smooth as ever, and I was really happy that it was able to keep up after a couple months of use. The display can also drop down to a lower refresh rate whenever it needs to preserve battery life, so if you're someone who wants extra battery life and doesn't really care about refresh rates, the 7 Pro has that capability. Now, the bezels are pretty small. Right here you can see that they're wrapped nicely around the screen and are much cleaner overall. The hole punch camera was also very small, so it won't bother you whenever you're using your phone. Now, when it comes to brightness, the 7 Pro is slightly better than the 6 Pro, but it's still not that good. In certain spots outside, I was able to see everything very clearly, but whenever the sun was really shining, it couldn't compare to my S23 Ultra or my 14 Pro Max. And then when it comes to the size of the Pixel 7 Pro, I can't tell you whether or not you will love it or hate it, but I want to list some pros and cons that you can look out for. Now, the pros of having a big screen is that the viewing experience is much better, the battery is bigger so it'll be able to last longer, and bigger phones tend to have slightly better resolution. And now the cons of having a big screen is that it makes it much harder to use with one hand. Trying to simply reach to the top of the screen requires more work, and you'll need some pretty big pockets if you want to store your phone. But again, I want to let you guys outweigh the pros and cons because everyone's needs are different. Now, the responsiveness still holds up very well. I use my Pixel 7 Pro for the gym a lot, so even when I'm sweating a lot and changing the music, it still responds very well. Now, the resolution and viewing experience of the Pixel 7 Pro's display is one of my favorite things about this phone. I was able to see everything very clearly when watching videos, playing games when it was as fun as ever, and I wanted to give you guys an idea of what it would look like when watching something and playing a game.
For some. Now, I want to see the shooting. I think Steven Adams is so important to them from a physicality standpoint and their offense.
Now, the Pixel 7 Pro has a 5,000 mAh battery that was able to last me all day, and I feel like software played a big part. And mind you, I'm the type of person who is usually on my phone all day doing things like writing scripts, planning B-roll, shooting videos, scrolling through social media, watching YouTube videos, and texting my friends. And I'm usually getting over 6 hours of screen time, which is a lot. So if you're someone who is on your phone all day, the 7 Pro has got you covered. And if I could give you guys a quick estimate, I would say that my battery is usually on 30% by the end of the day, which is really good. So if you use your phone less than me, you'll be even more satisfied. Now, the last thing that I want to touch on when it came to the battery was the charging. My phone was able to charge from 0 to 100% in a little over an hour, and I think that's pretty good for the battery that you're getting. And I mostly charged my phone overnight, so it wasn't that big of an issue. Now, looking at software, the 7 Pro supports Android 13, and just like on any other Android, you have the app drawer that holds and categorizes all your apps. You have the new wallpaper system that is a huge upgrade and feels much smoother on this phone, and you have many more minor things that make the phone feel even sleeker. And I pretty much felt the sleekness all the way through. Pixel phones are typically very smooth when it comes to optimizing software, so I'm not shocked at all when I say that this phone does a really great job when it comes to Android 13. Again, the software was very smooth and worked very well, and I feel like most of you guys will realize that in terms of software, it's really not that much different from other top tier models. And I also decided to test out some games on my 7 Pro. I play Asphalt 9, which is a game that can really test out the chip, and as you can see, it holds up really well, and I didn't get any lags while playing. Now the haptics were okay if I'm being honest. Sometimes I would feel the vibrations whenever I got a message, and sometimes I wouldn't. So the vibration motors could be a little stronger, and in my opinion, they're worse than my 14 Pro Max and my S23 Ultra. And the final thing that I wanted to note was that the 7 Pro will be getting 5 years worth of software upgrades, so when it comes to longevity, it's pretty much got you covered. Now just like the 6 Pro, the 7 Pro has some really loud speakers that were really good whenever I used them. I would usually use them in the house whenever watching videos on social media or YouTube, and I didn't have to turn it all the way up because of how loud they were on the lower tiers of volume. I tested out how they sounded when playing music, and if I'm being honest, they're loud, but the quality isn't the best when the volume gets to the max. And I also tested out the 7 Pro as my alarm, and I had no problem waking up from it. Also, Pixel alarms have the best features, so I was pretty satisfied. And right here, I'm going to give you guys an idea of how the speakers sound. Now the Pixel 7 Pro has a 50 megapixel main camera along with a 48 megapixel telephoto and 12 megapixel ultra wide, and based on my usage over the past couple of months, I will say that the pictures look amazing. Now starting with zoom modes, the 7 Pro has a couple of different zoom modes, and of course the quality gets dumbed down a bit once you get closer, but I found all of the zoom modes to be great when compared to other smartphones. The shutter speed was very good from the start. I decided to test this out by shooting moving cars, and as you can see right here, the camera was able to capture most cars beautifully no matter how fast they were going, so I was pretty satisfied. Now next up, I want to show you guys how the camera performed in different environments, and the first environment that I will be starting with is daytime. Now looking at the outside photos, we can see that they have a really great shadow of depth whenever I'm taking pictures of myself along with a nice blur, and this is scaled all the way up once I use the portrait mode that Pixel has always been pretty good at. I also took some photos of random street objects, the sky, and different aspects of nature, and I can honestly say that the 7 Pro held up very well in these environments, and I'm really impressed. Now in the tougher settings, I would pretty much say that everything still looked good. The only complaint that I have is the shutter speed when the lighting isn't great. And now when it comes to taking inside photos, the 7 Pro is able to capture everything very nice, and I found the pictures to be slightly more detailed than the 6 Pro in terms of sharpness. Even when taking selfies, you can see how the camera handles already good lighting to produce an overall nicely taken photo. My skin tone looked really good, and the sharpness was at its peak. And now when it comes to shooting video, the 7 Pro is easily one of the best phones that you can buy in this price range. You have many different modes and frame rates to choose from, but I prefer to shoot my videos in 4K at 30 frames per second because not only does it look good in 4K, but the 30 frames makes it look smooth and realistic. The video stabilization was out of this world. I shoot videos with my phone, so whenever I'm shooting my subject, I can use everything handheld, and the movements will be very smooth, which was very impressive. So all in all, I would definitely say that the Pixel 7 Pro has an amazing video camera that'll give you some consistently good shots. So if you're someone who wants to shoot content or you just want a solid camera, the 7 Pro has got you covered. And also, here's some extra videos that I was able to get.
It's going pretty.
So here's the final question. Is the Pixel 7 Pro a good phone to buy? Well, I will say that it's a great phone to buy, and you should get it because it's 100% worth it. And I say this because the Pixel 7 Pro has everything that a top tier phone has, and not only do you get a very premium experience, but you also get it for a cheaper price. You don't have to spend $1,300 to get a top tier flagship phone, and that's where the Pixel comes in. And if you are someone who does prefer the Pixel 7 Pro, it's definitely a phone that you'll be very satisfied with. But there it is, my review on the Pixel 7 Pro. Now let me know down in the comments below, do you guys think that the Pixel 7 Pro is one of the most well polished phones in the market? Let me know.